Item 10E, receive a report on the fire department's fire hose replacement program and replacement of fire hose for fire engines.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I'm here tonight to give a report. Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. On the fire replacement, hose replacement program per the City Council's request. In the past, San Bruno's Fire Department past practice has been to replace hose when it was damaged or didn't pass its annual test. This practice, although proven to be ineffective and inefficient, is one that most departments followed in regards to fire hose. Most departments until recently extended the life of the fire hose as long as it passed its annual test. So unlike most agencies throughout the county, we stretched the hose out for as long as we could. However, NFPA 1961, which regulates the use and replacement of fire hose, recently amended its standards, which recommends fire hose replacement every 12 years. Additionally, our neighboring jurisdictions throughout the county are standardizing hose on engines based on quantity, color, and diameter for more efficient and safe fireground operations. After a comprehensive review of our fire hose inventory, we have found that approximately 50% of our hose is out of compliance with replacement recommendations on all four of our engines, 2 frontline engines and 2 reserves. In your packets as a visual, because I know some council members are a little more visual than others, I've included some photos of different fire engines. The photos attached show examples of our own San Bruno engines and one of the Milbray engines. Probably the main differences between the two are the color-coded attack lines and the 5-inch large diameter hose where San Bruno has 4-inch. If you look at some of our engines, mainly 51, 52 in our reserve, you'll see that a lot of the hose, especially the 2.5-inch supply line, dates back to 1978. This is the hose that's probably most in dire need of replacement. During this past budget process, we were able to address, I think, our hose replacement needs by increasing the budget to $55,000 for the fiscal year 13-14. This is an increase from the previous 2 years of $2,500 in 11-12 and $12,300 in 12-13. This increased allocation of funds will outfit our top 2 frontline engines with new, compliant, and standardized fire hose. The department will request to replace the additional hose over the next 2 budget cycles, which will take care of our reserve engines. This plan parallels replacement plans for other equipment that we have, such as turnouts. As in turnouts, firefighters are required to have 2 sets rather than buy 2 sets at the same time. We space it over 5 years so that they have 1 set in use for 5 years. Those go to a backup, and then they get a new set for another 5 years. So they have 1 set that's new for 5 years, a second set that goes into a backup status. That'll be the same kind of concept that we'll have for the fire hose, where it'll be on the top line engines for the first half of its life and then go to the reserves. The department feels that this is an effective and efficient replacement plan moving forward and should address the department's and the council's concerns regarding safe fire hose. At this point, I'll be glad to answer any questions you have regarding the replacement plan for fire hose.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions? There you go.
Through the chair, thank you for the visuals.
You're welcome.
You could have also brought the fire truck. That would have been even better. But, yeah. I've read the report, and I've checked on some of this with the county, as far as with the other committee I serve on. It's safe to say with the $55,000 that helps bring us to, as I understand, satisfactory, adequate. It's a request for $25,000 next budget cycle, $25,000 next budget cycle. So I sit up here and say, well, I guess you could argue the point either way, to be fair, whether to increase or continue on this with the $55,000 that was spent. To me, I don't know that I can predict the future. I don't know where the city's budget will be in 2 years. I know that the city, I believe, can afford it today. I believe it takes us from a standard and adequate to maybe being proactive and prepared. I believe as we saw almost 3 years ago, as we saw at the airport, then we had to go to Redwood City for a 6 alarm. You never know what is needed when it's needed. So I sit up here and saying if I have to argue either way, I would go on the side of being prepared and spending resources where they benefit and value the community that I represent and have to answer to. So in my opinion, I believe spending an additional $25,000, which was what Chief Lattis had suggested, if there was any type of an increase of, would be that. Therefore, there can be an additional either request the next budget cycle, and then we should be up to par and back where we should be, which is not standard or adequate, but prepared.
Anyone else? Ken?
I concur. If that's the recommendation, and if that's something that could be proposed by the department to come back, with the $25,000 increase, and I'd be in favor of that.
Irene?
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Are you saying in addition to the $55,000 for this budget,
I am.
another $25,000? Oh, okay. Do you want to make that as a motion?
Well, I think we're just receiving a report tonight, right?
We're returning to you with information. The report explains and provides additional detail regarding the recommendation that staff has already made through the budget and which has been approved by the City Council. You retain the authority, should you wish to make a change to the adopted budget at any time. And certainly if you need more information, we're happy to return with that information.
So I'm asking for a resolution to be brought back at the next meeting for the increase of $25,000 for a purchase of additional hose to this year's budget.
I concur also. Any?
Through the chair, I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
Is the purchase of the hose something that we could plan for in an equipment reserve so that we have a steady yearly allocation to it rather than a one-time cost that has to be sort of, kind of comes out of band for the rest of the budget? So could we do something like that going forward?
Yeah, it's something that we're looking at to do inventory of all equipment, engines, all equipment, so that we can get a better cost allocation over a period of time of the lifespan, and then plan accordingly on a year-by-year basis on a maintenance, so that we don't have these large, budget requests, on a one-time or two cycle basis. So yeah, we are planning on better budgeting on a maintenance schedule to answer your question.
Okay. Yeah, and it seems like now that we have a 12-year guideline that we can kind of plan toward, then it makes
Exactly.
it a little easier to do.
That's what our plan is.
Through the chair, just because the mayor and I serve on the fire subcommittee, and the chief can correct me, but what they're also doing with the shared administrative is they're, for the first time, looking at it as a whole, the three agencies, and seeing what is needed, what is had, and so we could work more as a team in purchasing and projecting and seeing what resources we have instead of every city doing their own thing. So that is also a step that is now underway, which will hopefully improve things.
Okay. Do you have the information you need?
Okay.
See you next.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the report.